Sorry, I'm just trying to get as many stupid photos as I can. So
Listen, you came to the right place. You came to the right place. No, Tatum's a legit dude. There was a turning point event in Detroit in June.
Yeah, you're definitely getting.
Yeah, it's gonna be
that.
bad. Yeah, no one's gonna see our talk today. We might as well just stop. It was nice meeting you, bro.
It's great. After this sentence, it's gonna get cut off.
I mean, it'll probably be allowed. Just I won't get paid on it.
Yeah, demonetize it.
Yeah.
You guys do Rumble and YouTube or just?
Yeah,
YouTube?
Rumble, YouTube, and now actually I've been talking to the Parlor team a lot. They just brought me on as a influencer guy, trying to help grow the platform.
And where's home for you originally?
Detroit.
Did we meet at an event in Detroit in like 2019? You have that face. I mean,
I'm pretty popular. You know, like my 4 subscribers just hit hard. So it's probably, I don't want to be that guy. You probably saw me.
There was like a good 10 seconds there where I was like, Jesus, this guy's for real.
I'm 100% sarcastic. Sorry, a lot of times like.
We have the same dry humor. I love
yes, it. Yeah, it's a problem because people that don't know me are like, you?
It's a little.
Like, no.
I deal with that all the time.
I'm just a dick.
Like, no, it's just me. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
kidding.
awesome. Cool. All right.
Swipes right. Swipe right.
Dude, what got you into all this stuff, man?
Are we starting?
I do soft.
Oh.
So my Joe Rogan
You
is
didn't
my
tell me you're a
inspiration.
Theo Vaughn guy. It's just on, and then we get into it.
I'm a big Theo Vaughn guy, actually.
Me too. All right, what got me into this? Ron Paul.
Wow.
Old, crazy guy.
Uh-huh.
My mentor, my hero from Texas. So I am going to school in Pennsylvania to be a math teacher.
Sick.
And was studying at the University of Pittsburgh, and I found these Ron Paul YouTube videos. And went in my dorm room and watched movies all night about the Federal Reserve and our foreign policy that's kind of this vast empire that's bankrupting us, inflation, the weaponization of government, all these things that were unheard of 10, 15 years ago that are now mainstream. And I walked out of my dorm room the next morning and I said, gosh, I guess everybody's watching these videos. Turns out it was just me. So I did the I applied for an internship with Ron. I had no idea about political campaigns. I had no idea about organizations. I had no idea about 501c4 organizations, PACs. I didn't know what official versus campaign was. I just loved the guy. And I started reading all these books that he recommended. So I apply, and by the way, I'm going to go as deep in the weeds, you're going to have to pull me out.
I got you.
So I apply to work for Ron as an intern in 2011, and I'm in my sophomore year of college.
Okay.
I graduated Chichester High School in 2009. So in my sophomore year, it might have been 2010 when I applied, I got hired to be like the summer intern. Go to DC, complete shit show. Am I S words okay? Like you learn very quickly, no one on Capitol Hill is doing anything. Ron is a patriot,
right?
And his staff are good people, but like it's just like there's only 4 people in Washington who write any of the policies. Like it's the majority leader and the speaker's staff. Everybody else is just giving tours.
Right.
Like what are we doing here? We're all making 20 grand a year, broke as staff assistants. So what happened was, after a week, I asked Ron's team, I said, listen, I'm this kid from Pennsylvania. This is a Texas congressional. Why did you guys hire me? Because everybody else, like their offices hire local constituents. And they said, Cliff? They said, it's pretty easy. You're the most normal libertarian we've ever met. And I should have known then, like Dylan, I should have just got up and gotten out of politics.
Yeah.
Right, because I was like, what? Like, what do you everybody watches sports or plays golf or, shaves their neck beard. Like, I don't understand, like, what you're talking about. So that was my introduction, and then I'll quickly go through this. Taught for a year, 2013.
Math.
5th grade, Pennsylvania.
Tough subject.
Realized I am not going to run an education revolution as a government school 5th grade math teacher. And quickly decided that my skills I had built from organizing, I had worked on a couple campaigns as a volunteer. All right, let me put this into action. And so 2016, after a year of really working it, Rand Paul hired me to be his national youth director for his presidential race.
Wow.
So I do that for a year. He drops out. Trump ascends. Rand has to run for Senate re-elect. And I learned a huge lesson during that campaign. I was really just observing. And we were running a lot of the Get Out the Vote ground game. But we did it all with volunteers. And so you had the Republicans in that Senate race, all volunteers. The Democrats had all volunteers and all paid staff. And I was like, what is this?
Wait a second.
Rob Schneider or Steve Buscemi in Daddy's, what Big Daddy? Is that what it's called? Big Daddy? What's the Adam Sandler movie?
Yeah. I was thinking Daddy's Home, but that's Mark Wahlberg.
And he says, there's the Sugar Mama, and he's like, I got to get me one of them, right? I'm like,
Yes.
I got to get me
figure that
one
out.
of these paid ground games. So, long story short story long, I have been on a mission of mercy to try to get Republicans to understand the value of door-to-door paid ground games. 2018, 2020, we won about 180 to 200 races. 2020, we won another 100 races. 2022, probably another 100 races, or 24. What happened, though, is through all this, we've knocked 8 million doors. We've won over 400 races. I've hired over 4,000 ballot chasers. But 24, everything changed. I get a call from Charlie Kirk. I get a call from people in Trump's world, and they're like, hey, you're doing all this door knocking for state-level races. Your tactic is working. But with the new rule change, because I was focused on state legislative. That's to me is the fight. After they changed the rules, it really was like, do you want to save the republic because you have a group in Pennsylvania, you're from Pennsylvania, your business partners from Pennsylvania, you guys are the #1 door knocking group across the country at the state level. How do I get you to take all of your resources, go back to your home state of PA, and run the chase? Charlie said he's got Arizona, he's got Wisconsin. They're going to do a robust ground game. I want you in Pennsylvania. First we said no. I said, why do I do that? I said, Trump's going to come out on October 1st and say, don't vote by mail.
Yeah.
It's corrupt. It's fraudulent. No, I give Trump a lot of credit. Trump was all on board. I give Susie Wiles, Chris LaCivita, James Blair, all of them, those silos. We were able to share data legally. The RNC, the Trump campaign, America First Works, Elon's PAC, Charlie's group, Scott Presler's group. Man, we were all singing from the same song sheet. It was a beautiful, beautiful victory.
So Pennsylvania, big swing state, and
19 electoral votes if you're counting.
And you have been named as really the person in a lot of ways that really did a lot of that dirty groundwork to get Pennsylvania swinging. If I would have told you back when you were just studying to be a math teacher, before you found the Ron Paul videos, that fast forward to 2024, that you would be the guy working with Trump team, working with Turning Point, would you believe that this has been your path of life? Has this been something you've always been like, yeah, politics are cool? Is this something like, I don't know why I'm here, I'm glad I am, but this, if you would have told high school me, I would have been like, yeah, okay.
I would have said, have another sip, buddy. You're going to need it. No, I mean, look, life is fascinating. I've dealt with highs and lows. I've dealt with, when you get in the political arena, if you're over the target, they will come for you. And they will come for you in a way that I don't think people will ever expect. Or it's almost like reverse imposter syndrome. You think, well, I can't be that important when they really come after me. But we have taken out some of the most powerful Democrats and some of the most powerful Republicans. I've had civil cases thrown my way. I've had criminal charges thrown my way. I've had FEC complaints. I've had state election commissions. I want to be clear, I've beat everything, but that's not the point. The point is you have to go through it. And I always tell people, when the lawfare comes for you, Trump going through what he went through has helped anybody that's dealt with the BS, because now it's normalized, it's nationalized. People can see it. 20 years ago, if I would have went through what I went through and they tried to put me in prison, they tried to take all my money, I might have had to get out of politics because they could, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. Really? Check for an arsonist, buddy. Because there could be other rationale or other incentives here, and people just don't want to take the time to look. So I tell everybody, like, if you're over the target, you have two choices when they come for you. One, go into the corner, get into a ball in the fetal position and cry and get out of politics forever. Or two, stand up, put a smile on your face, and punch them right in the mouth, because winning is the greatest revenge.
Do you have a moment when you mentioned a lot of different things that they came for you? Do you have one that sticks out in your brain that you're like, this one, when I got this news, this was bad, and I didn't see a way out? Like, it was just like one of those that you were like, this is bad. Was it, your first one, or was there one that was like, it was so harsh, so strong, and then like, how'd you guys get through that one?
Yeah, so
I don't know if you can give me like details with law.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a pretty open book. For a while, I was, advised not to speak on it, but anymore, I don't really care. There were two major moments. One, I built an organization from nothing and turned it into a $15 million a year organization. And I'm a kid from the Philly suburbs. I don't come from money. Raising that type of money, and then I had the organization ripped out from under me. It was difficult. And I always tell people, when you build something, make sure you control it. Make sure you don't have weak men that are going to be able to make decisions that impact something you've built. Wow. So that was number one. Number two, when they came after me criminally, and they threw some bogus charges at me and tried to put me in prison for 20 years. I had two decisions. One, I could have sold out. I could have paid to make some of it go away and kind of just, settle. But then there's always this gray area of like, well, why'd you pay? And so I did what every attorney said was nuts. I just fought it. I went all the way to trial. I stood on trial for 5 days. And I had to have a 4-day trial, the jury deliberation the next day. But I had to have that jury decide if I was going to be a free man. I don't wish it on my worst enemy when you go home that night and you have to...
Yeah, how do you deal with that stress, man?
You have to laugh it off. It's the only way. I mean, luckily I'm, an Irish guy, come from the streets of Philadelphia.
Yeah, you cut a little thing. Yeah, you're good.
We all, I worked at a pool hall through high school to pay my way, right? Like, I know the hard knocks. And it's, I think the lowest of lows are when you realize you just got to laugh. Yeah. You have to, man. If you're in this political game, which is a circus, it is a clown show. Sometimes you got to laugh at the clowns.
Yeah.
Right? Even if they're not that entertaining, it's the only way you're going to be able to push through it.
Do you, given some of this Mauricio, we are getting demonetized for sure. Yeah. This is going to be bad. It's good, though. It's good. I'm grateful for no money, but this is awesome.
Is somebody singing it like with the voice track, or is it just I'm hearing it?
No, that's just through the, I heard it too. Hey. That's amazing. So I wanted to ask, you go deal with stress. What are some of your hobbies? Like I think a lot of the times you always talk politics, and I'm not a political show. Just give you like a 30-second spiel about me, just to give you an idea who you're talking to. I started an entrepreneurship show because I work with business owners for my full-time job. Started a business podcast. Had a guy on from Babylon Bee named Joel Berry. That catapulted my show to having Tatum on, which then forced me to come here, and now I'm here. So I'm not like a political show, although I am diving into politics, which has already led into some interesting fall through in my business life. But like, when you deal with stress, like, do you have hobbies you do, or like, what kind of keeps you sane through the crazy?
So the first thing is I always like to have a clear goal. A lot of people, you get burned out in politics because you're what I call floating, right? It's like, well, what's the next battle? What are we going to do? And honestly, I'm in this mode right now. I'm kind of beating myself up because we just got done with one of the clearest goals and successful executions of my political career. But now I have to figure out not what I can do or how I can do it, but how I message what my goal is. So, give you an example. 2024, we went public with this BHAGs and said we need 33% of the mail-in vote to go to Donald Trump. We came in at 34.5, but like every morning I get up, right, and I'm looking at my wall and writing 33%. Like, and good entrepreneurs, right? That is the focus. Like, you need to be very clear, and your whole team needs to know, how are we measuring success? So right now, for hobbies, I love to play poker. I'm a math guy. I've won a World Poker Tour event.
Really?
2022, I won the Venetian World Poker Tour event.
That's awesome. I don't want to be that guy though. Just so you know, on the plane on the way here, I played against a couple of the computer players on little tablets there, and I won.
Holy cow!
I don't want to like.
It's never been done before. You
Yeah.
should call Guinness.
I know,
You should
like
really talk to
he
them.
was impressed. You know, I won with like a 2 and a 7. It was absolutely incredible. But that is incredible though. So is Texas Hold'em your game, or what kind of poker do you enjoy?
I actually prefer to play limit Hold'em.
I don't know what that is.
So no limit. It's Hold'em. It's still Texas Hold'em. No limit at any point. You can bet any amount. Limit Hold'em is there are structured bets. So whatever the blinds are, that big blind is pretty much your maximum bet every rotation.
So you can't have someone try to.
Let's say we have $1,000 and we're playing cash, and the blinds are 20-40. So on the pre-flop, you have to call 40, or you can raise 40 more. You can't raise to
that-
600 and go all in.
So it's.
But it is 2 cards face down, 5 community cards, and the best 5 cards win. Your 2 plus 5 on the board, or your 2 plus 3 on the board. So it's the same structure. But anyway, I love to play cards. My wife just got orders for Nellis Air Force Base in Vegas. A little dangerous for me. So we are going to live in Vegas for the next 4 years.
Yeah, that's fun.
Very dangerous for me.
You got to hang out with Dana White. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, well, I was over at Red Rock, and I haven't run into him yet, but that's his spot.
Okay.
But yeah, poker, I like to. You know, it's funny. I used to love to play golf. I golfed a lot through high school because it was free when you played on the high school golf team.
Right.
I don't play much anymore because it's probably the most frustrating game when you're not playing it regularly.
And it's not cheap anymore. Yeah.
I do like to play tennis if I can get out and play. But honestly, the reason, and this is going to make me sound like a horrible workaholic and like a horrible work-life balance, but the reason I like to have a goal with business or with any of these organizations I'm running is because I am pretty obsessive compulsive. Right? And like I drive myself nuts if it's just like, what are we doing? Oh, there's a race we're going to help out on here. Like I need what is it? What does Jim Collins call it? Big, hairy, audacious goals.
Like it.
I think big and hairy might be sexual. I probably shouldn't say. I think that's what he calls it. By the way, for all the entrepreneurs out there, the book that led me to take an organization in my orgs now from about 50 to 500K a year to 15 to 20 million a year is called Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Great book.
Familiar?
Great book, yes, sir.
And it really changed my whole perspective of like understanding what is that thing you're going to be the best. When I talk about a goal, right, and just owning that you're going to be the best in the world. My pronouns are knock/doors, and his book really taught me that. There are different ways you can use the tactic, but what I want to be the best in the world at is building an infrastructure of door-to-door operations and having the best ground game in the world. That's what I'm trying to do.
So is that your next step? Is like, I want to take this business to as big as I possibly get? Do you see yourself running for political office in your future? Am I allowed to? Is that a bad question? I don't.
You can ask it. Absolutely not.
Okay.
The problem with being an operative when you're successful is you have the whole kitchen sink thrown at you in a way that most political candidates don't deal with until they run. So, like, I'm just too easy of a target. There's Donald Trump Jr. You should say hello. In the white shirt.
I would love that intro. We could stop right now and make an intro if you want.
See him in the white shirt? He's going in. Anyway, but I think that you have this issue where...
Go say hi.
What was I getting at? I don't want to run for office because there's just too much, like, you almost want people who have no footprint. I know that sounds odd, but I know what wins and what loses. And I always joke with people, it is very rare that someone's social media posts are so good that that's why they win, but it is oh so common that somebody has social media posts that ruin their odds of winning an election.
We saw that a lot. I mean,
yeah. That is across the board.
Every single video that a certain lady made for her, it was like, what are we watching here? Like, this is not helping anything. And so I could talk to you for now. By the way, we should do it longer. I'd love to talk to you for longer sometime.
Yeah, we'd love that.
I want to be cognizant of your time. So let me know when I need to shut up because I will ask you questions indefinitely because I freaking love doing this. So Kyle's talking. That's nice. Nice guy. Last question for you. I just started this podcast a year ago. I luckily been friends with Tatum. Aubrey and I have been able to build a good relationship, but I know no one. Like outside of, you're the first person outside of Tatum in the Turning Point event like that I ever met with any merit. And so I've slowly been able to develop. What advice would you give to someone like me started a new show. We've done over 1 million views on YouTube. We're already monetized, so we actually are getting pretty fast traction for a podcast. What advice would you give for me to network? Like, how should I go about getting the next guest, even with you? How do I go about keeping the relationships warm? Because being that I'm not a political analyst, or I don't want to be that annoying little dog that's like, oh, hey, I need you on to feed my show. Like, how can I deliver value to people like you, even though I myself am not in the political scene?
So let's talk two different things. Let's talk about once you've got a relationship, like meeting me, versus a cold prospect, right? So once you have a relationship, one of the things I try to do a lot of my funders is I try to just, weekly or every other week, send them something that not necessarily is of value, but is of interest, right? So I'll sit there and text maybe my top 100 or 200 donors, and I'll just send them something like, hey, did you check out this article? Pretty interesting. And the article isn't always a fluff piece about us. Sometimes it is, or it might be a post I put up that's, look at the work we're doing. But, for sometimes it's like, all right, I have a donor who's in the ag business. So I have like 5 or 6 of them. So there's some, breaking news on ag. I send it to them like, hey, making sure you saw this. And anything that can be of interest to them is good. Now, for cold prospects, which is going to be the big one for you, because when I had to raise $3 million, it's very similar to what you're doing, right? You're trying to get to high net worth people, high value people, highly inaccessible people.
Yes.
And a lot of it is not, once I get the interview, what am I going to ask them?
Right.
No, it's how do you get the interview?
Yes.
Right? Because you'll crush it in any interview. There's a book, and I probably shouldn't say this publicly. I'm giving out all my secrets.
Should I? We don't have to.
No.
We don't have to.
I'm fine. Most people are lazy. They don't do the work. So it's written by a guy named Stu Heinecke, and it's called How to Set a Meeting with Anyone. And I think it would change your life in terms of you trying to set interviews. And here's why. Pretty much what it taught me is that if you do individualized packages, if you make asks to individuals, write down a list of the top 10, most famous people you want to have on your show.
Cliff Maloney, Cliff Nelson.
So when you do that, though, it is going to force you to make a unique package for each of them. But because they're so high value to you, it's worth it for you to send 10, 20, or 30 packages. If you have a 10% rate of return and you get 3 people out of the 30 to lock in, and these are 3 of the top 30 people in the world that you want on your show.
Those are life-changing at that point.
And so I tell people, in the direct mail industry, it's like if 0.5% of people respond, you're a genius with bulk mail. This is unique mailers. I raised the $3 million for the BHAGs because I targeted 300 of the top Republican donors. I sent them a very unique package that had the official ballot chasing sneakers for the BHAGs.
Wow.
And I had a personal video in every single one of them, directly to that donor, talking about what they care about. And I gave them 2 options. I said, 1, toss these shoes on, meet me in Philadelphia on September 1, we're getting to work. Or number 2, I know you're busy, I'll come and pick up the shoes and we can talk about you sponsoring our ballot chasers. Now, some people said, F off, but they responded. Guess what? I got their email now.
Yes.
Now we're talking. Hi, Bob. I'm glad, you were offended by it. That was the whole point. I wanted to be joking. We should do coffee sometime. Let me keep you looped in. So that book, and once again, this is if you'll do the work, not just you, but anybody listening. If you're in the level of where there are an audience of 10 to 30 people that could radically change your success and your trajectory, that book is a must-read.
Last question. Sorry, I could keep
You're
going
good.
for
You're
just.
good.
I will. I'm
You're
like
good.
I'm not Canadian, but I am Canadian because I just keep apologizing 24/7. I have the last question, and we're gonna get wrapped up because I know you have a million things to do. Is there any promo or anything at all people can support what you have going on? Anything at all that you'd love to give to my 30 list mom? Thank you for listening. Anyone did it all.
Subscribe to Dillon England Show. That's number 1. Number 2, you can follow me on X at Maloney. And then really look, PHAs, we're going to relaunch in January. PHAs.com, PA, which is short for Pennsylvania, Chase, CHASC, PHAs.com, and on X at Maloney. But look, man, I actually respect that you're not just a political show and that you're diving into it a little bit in terms of politics. I think there is such a need for entrepreneurs Have you worked with Praxis at all? Discover Praxis. They're here. I need to connect you with them.
That'd be great.
They run a 10-month course on entrepreneurs, and they teach kids hard. It's an alternative to
That's sick.
college.
Yeah.
They teach kids hard skills. Some of the best people I've ever hired are from this Discover Praxis group. I need to connect you with them. Keep speaking truth, man. Keep being innovative. That's what matters to, I think, so many people. And we've got our country back.
Appreciate it. Thank you for all your work. Thank you for coming to the show. Guys, please subscribe, follow Cliff on X. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.